Oh, well, what have we got here? Is it time for tea? Is it tea time? I think it might be tea time. Well, aren't you going to invite me? Well, let's see what we've got. Oh my, oh my. Well, hello there. This is the Rossum Vegan Gal for some tea time. Now, I see we have my favorite tea here. It is organic peppermint. And let's open up one. And what shall we have with our tea? Oh my, oh my. Let's open up this wonderful tea if we can. It smells so delightful. Oh my, oh my. But what have we got here? Sugar. Sugar? Do you think I like sugar? What kind of sugar have we got here? Sweet and low. What about some domino? Can you see that domino? We've got all this sugar here, but my oh my, this is not for me. This is all chemicals. Now listen here. Mindy does not use chemicals. That's why I'm the Rossum Vegan Gal. I use only clean, pure products. So we will not, dare say, put any of this awful, darn, chemically based sugar substitutes in my tea. If we're going to use anything, it's got to be natural, okay? So what I have here in some little dishes to show you is I've got some ideas for what we can use instead of sugar that is better for us. And actually, some of them are not actually even sugar. They're not chemical at all. There's a product called Stevia. Some people call it Stevia, but it actually was discovered by a man in South America, and his first name was Esteve, so they named it Stevia. So what I have here to show you is some Stevia powder. I have actually the green powder. Most people don't have that. And if I can show that to you here, this is the green powder, if I can get it in view. You can see that. That's the green powder. And then I also have the Stevia leaves. That's the leaves. And then I have something here called coconut sugar. And that has a color because that is from the sap of the coconut. And you can get it like this in this package. This is from a company called Nutiva, and I will have a link below my video. Same for the Stevia as well, where you can get the products. Now the Stevia I have in powder I actually got from my health food store, and they just wrapped it in their own package. And there are some companies online where you can get those products. Or you can actually grow your own plant. Now Stevia is actually not a sugar. Stevia is a sweet leaf that happens to be up to 300 to 400 times sweeter than sugar. So it's much better for you because you will not upset your sugar balance, especially if you're a hypoglycemic or diabetic. It'll actually help balance your sugar. And there are some people who've used the Stevia. Comes also in a dark liquid concentrate, and they've been able to actually reduce or get off their insulin completely. So that's pretty amazing. So when it comes to sweets, you have to be really careful about upsetting your sugar balance in your body. There's some other options too. There's something called date sugar, which also comes granulated. There's also date syrup, where they actually make the dates themselves into a more liquid form, kind of like a honey or a maple syrup. But it's much better for you than those other products. And I'm not a big fan of honey either. So I prefer to stay with a whole food product or something that is actually made from food, whether it's from coconut, the Stevia, or the date sugar or date syrup. Those would be much better for you. And they also make coconut nectar as well. So I wanted to tell you too about this book called Sugar Blues. And I just started to reread it again. I got it years ago. This was written in 1972 by a man named Bill Dufty. And there's a picture on the back, if you can see that, of his before and after pictures. I think it's pretty clear. That's the before and that's the after. Pretty amazing. He looks 20 years younger in the after picture. And he was a sugar addict. And he actually tells the whole history of sugar. It's very interesting. And I'm only maybe almost about halfway through it again. And it's fantastic. Let me tell you, if you're someone who is addicted to sugar and don't realize what kind of poison you're putting in your body that is killing you, like in the back it says, "Is sugar killing you sweetly?" This is an amazing book. You must get it, and I will have a link below with the name of it, and you can probably, I'm sure, get it on Amazon. And it is fantastic. It'll really change your mind and blow you away, and you'll look at better options for yourself, because people don't even realize there's even sugar in cigarettes. Hard to believe. And they've done studies where they have had people in jails that they were eating all this processed food, and when they were there for maybe some hard crimes and they changed their food habits, they actually were normal human beings like the rest of us, which is amazing. So it's something you definitely want to think about. There's a lot of sugar in a lot of products. There's even some great movies on sugar, and again, I will do my due diligence to give you as many links below this video for you to have options to look at. There's a channel called the Real Food Channel, and it has a lot of really great documentary movies on there too, and there's one really great one on sugar that I watched. So that's a really great book. The other book that I've had for quite a number of years, and actually I'm proud to say that I was given to it by the person who brought Stevia to this country. His name is James A. May. He wrote a book called The Miracle of Stevia. You can see that over there. And again, I'll have a link below this video. And this also goes through the whole history of how Stevia came to be in this country, and also about what the FDA is doing, that they're promoting, of course, aspartame and how bad it is for you, and claim that they have never had any problems, adverse effects from aspartame, which is totally false. It's just covered up by the government, which we know already. For those of you who are already on a healthier track of life, you already know that. So it's basically called the Miracle of Stevia because there's so many amazing things that this is good for. Okay, it's not just good for your blood sugar; it's also good for high blood pressure. It's actually antibacterial, because since it's a green leaf, think about anything that's green. Anything that's green is high in minerals. So it's high in minerals. It's good for sore throats, upset stomach. If you have any blemishes on your skin, it'll actually dry them up. I mean, I can go on and on with the benefits of it. It's unbelievable. This book talks about it in detail. It goes through all the different types of stevia products, meaning, like I showed you, there's the powder, there's the leaf. You can get it in a concentrate. I prefer the whole food form because I know people can buy them in like these packets, but of course not the chemical stuff, but they come in packets and it's white. Now, stevia in its original nature is not white. It's actually green, as I showed you in the little dishes that I had of the powder and the leaves. So what they do is they strip that off and then they make it white, so they are denaturing it somewhat. And what happens is since people don't understand the capacity of stevia, that it's up to 300-400 times sweeter than sugar, you don't want to overdo how much you put in your tea or your coffee or wherever you're using it for. So the best thing to do, I always say, is taste it first and then put in a little at a time, because you may be overdoing it. Same thing if you're using it in baking. So what happens is too with the white one, it tends to be more bitter. And that's what happens is when you put too much in, it creates a bitterness. So you want to be really aware of that and opt on the side of less is more when you're starting out, so that you don't come to that difficulty and say, ooh, tastes horrible, because stevia does not taste horrible. So again, and this book is absolutely fabulous, and hopefully you will go ahead and get this book and read it, especially if you have issues in your life, health concerns. There was a man in here who talks about how he used the liquid concentrate and his blood pressure went back to normal. I mean, there's amazing stories, people getting off their insulin completely. I mean, there's other ways to do it with, of course, eating whole food, plant-based food regimen. But as far as your sugar, people forget, most of us tend to have a sweet tooth, although some people also like the savory and the salty and the spicy, but our nature is mostly towards sweet. So besides getting it from sweet fruit, people who tend to go for the processed foods, the sugar-laden foods, the donuts and the cookies and the pies and the cakes and all those kinds of things, they're really wreaking havoc on their body. And our bodies can only handle so much, and then they go into distress, as we call it. It's almost the panic button goes on, like stop, stop, stop. You don't listen. So that blood sugar level keeps going up and down, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to cause any problems. So my darling, if I'm going to have my tea, I will put something in it that's much better for me. Some stevia, perhaps? Thanks for watching. It's the Rawesome Vegan Gal.